Hey everybody, welcome to a new video on logic gates. So in the last video we went over the NAND logic gate, and I mentioned that it was also known as a universal logic gate because you can make more logic gates out of this one, and I want to show you what I mean, how you can make more logic gates out of this one. So we're gonna start with the NOT gate, that is the inverter. So we take one NAND gate that has two inputs A and B, outputs NAND. And as you can see here, we assign a value, logical value to NAND, which is A and B, and inside of a parenthesis and then a squiggly here. And what that means is that whenever both A and B are equals to 1, this is going to be a 0. So with our NOT gate, we only have one input A and output NOT. So this means is that we're feeding the same, the one single input signal into our NAND, which is A here, and we have an output NOT. So in this case here, because we're gonna have two different inputs that are gonna be changing with each clock cycle when we're gonna simulate it. Here we only have one input, so if it's a 1, it's gonna be the output's gonna be a 0. If the input is 0, then the output's gonna be 1, because it's gonna be the same one in each port, so to say. Now we move to the AND gate. So remember how I say that whenever A and B are both 1, this is gonna be 0. Well, and NAND are similar in that they are the opposite of each one. So NAND is gonna be a 1 whenever A and B are not equal to 1, but with AND it's gonna be a 0 whenever A and B are not equal, are not 0. I mean, sorry, let me reiterate. So with NAND, if both A and B are 1, then it's gonna be a 0. So if both are 0 or only one of them is 1, then it's gonna be a 1 here. So here it's gonna be the opposite. We have input A, we have input B, and we have output AND, and we have a wire A and BN. That's gonna be the output of our first NAND gate. I said it's a wire because we don't care about the value really. We only care about the AND output. So we're gonna feed our inputs A and B to this first NAND gate, as you can see, A and B, and the output's gonna be A and BN, so A not B not together. And this wired signal, we're gonna feed it to the second NAND gate, which is gonna be basically our inverter, like here how it has its both ports have the same input signal, so like here as well, so same input signal, and it's gonna output our AND. And here we have our OR gate. We have inputs A, B, and OR. And actually, let me just get rid of these ones, move it over outside, make them wires, like with the AND gate, because we don't really care about the values that we get on the before our final NAND gate. So yeah, that's fine. So here we have three NAND gates. So the first one's it's basically a NOT gate. It's gonna take input A, it's gonna output AN, and here it's gonna do the same with B. Input B and BN as our output. Now we're gonna feed these two outputs to this third and final NAND gate, and it's gonna output an OR gate. So here, as long as at least one input is 1, our output's gonna be 1. So when both are 0, we're gonna have a 0 as our output. And finally, we go to our gates. So this is our gate design source that we're gonna simulate. we have input A, input B, output not A, so the inverse of A. Likewise, input not output not B, sorry, which is the opposite of input B, and output OR and output AND. So here we have not the NOT gate for A, not A, NOT gate for B, B, not B. We have our AND gate. We're gonna feed it as inputs A and B. We're gonna get an AND logic output, and finally our OR logic gate A and B. We're gonna get an OR logic output. So that's that for this one. And for our simulation source, we have our gates underscore simulator simulation same. We have two registers A and B. We have wires not A, not B, and OR. So we're just gonna feed it to our gates module here, and we do our initial begin, set both values to 0 with 10 cycles, and then A equals 0, B equals not, wait 10 time clock cycles, sorry, and then A equals 1, B equals 0, wait 10 clock cycles, and finally A equals to 1, B equals to 1, we wait another 10 clock cycles, and finally we stop, we end this time initial begin, and we finish our module. So we're gonna start with our simulation. It shouldn't take long, hopefully. Okay, here we go. We're just gonna maximize this window, and we're gonna start at the beginning. So both A and B are equal to 0, so that means that not A is equal to 1, not B is equal to 1, sorry, and our AND gate is 0 because we don't have both inputs as 1. Our OR gate is equal to 0 because we don't have any input equal to 1. Now in the during the next 10 clock cycles, we have our input A is equal to 0, so not A is going to be equal to 1. Input B is equal to 1, and our not B is going to be equal to 0. That makes sense. AND gate is still equal to 0 because both are not equal to 1, and our OR gate is now equal to 1 because we have at least one input equal to 1. Now in the next 10 clock cycles, we have A equal to 1, B equal to 0, so not A is going to be equal to 0 and not B equals to 1, so that tracks, that makes sense. And it's still equal to 0 because we only have one input as 1. We need both inputs as 1 for this to be 1, but it's still a 0. And our OR gate is still 1 because we have at least one input equal to 1. And in our final 10 clock cycles, we have both inputs equal to 1, as you can see. And not A and not B are both equal to 0 because both are equal to 1, so both are equal to 0 here. Our AND gate is finally equal to 1 because both inputs are 1, so this one's going to be 1. And the OR gate is still at 1 because we at least have one input equal to 1. So yeah, that was actually a quicker video than the previous one because I only wanted to go over this code that I already made ahead of time and explain the logic and the design and all that. Now we're gonna go with the schematic just to show you how the circuit is made. So we're gonna wait a little bit. And loading device, okay, shouldn't take longer. There we go. Okay, now let's go here. Okay, so we have our not A, which is a NOT gate, which only has it's made with only one NAND gate, which has only one input A fitting into it. So it's only one input, so it's gonna be the inverse of our inputs of A is equal to 1, A naught is gonna be equal to 0. If A is equal to 0, not A is gonna be equal to 1. Same deal with B. Only one signal to our inputs and not B. For the AND gate, it has two NAND gates, The first one takes inputs A and B, makes NAND, and we feed this one NAND input, this one NAND's output signal to this NAND gate. So it's basically acts as a NOT gate, so we invert the NAND and we get the AND logic gate. Finally, we go to the OR gate. This one has 3. We have the inverter here for A. We have the inverter here for B. And we have our NAND here. And we have our OR output. As you can see, we had wires in our AND and OR modules here. But these ones don't show because they are wires. They're not going to show at the simulation, or rather, not at the related simulation, but rather they're not going to show here. If we had, for example, in our AND gate, we have wire output A and B, we would have it like here. We would have it here. Would go out from here, and we would see it next to this one, but because it's a wire and we don't really care, we only care about this final output, it's not going to be showing up. And that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, for sticking around, and I think I'm gonna maybe go with the NOR and XOR gates for the next video, or maybe I'm just gonna do the logic gates in LT-Spice to give you a better idea how to do it with transistors. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.